I just got back from Port Aransas, and I can't stop thinking about the salty vibes and sun-soaked memories from the Texas coast. Port Aransas is such a unique beach town. It's a place where family traditions unfold naturally, like surfing with my daughter, and beauty lies both in island views and the unhurried moments between adventures, like parasailing with the entire family. One visit and you'll see why generations of Texans have anchored their traditions to the island life. Start your new favorite family traditions in Port Aransas, Texas. Go to visitportaransas.com and plan your trip to Houston's beach.
Holocaust Museum Houston's new exhibit, Unveiled from the Vault, is now on view through January 4th. Unveiled from the Vault explores the history of the Holocaust through a curated selection of artifacts from the Holocaust Museum's permanent collection, many of which are being displayed for the first time. Admission is free for everyone on Thursdays from 2 to 5 p.m. and always free for children and students through the age of 18 and college students with a valid student ID. Get your tickets now at hmh.org/tickets.
Today on CityCast Houston, we made it to the end of the week, so let's break down the stories from the week with Houstonia Magazine's Erica Chang and executive producer Laura Isensee. It's Friday, August 1st. I'm Rahil Ramzanali, and here's what Houston's talking about. Okay, before we get to the news, I just want to thank everyone for all of their support in our membership launch campaign. Today is the very last day. You're going to hear us asking you to join for this campaign, all right? But I want you to join throughout the weeks, the upcoming months, whenever. I've been telling you about CityCast Houston Neighbors, and it's been so cool to see so many of y'all support what we're doing. So I just want to thank y'all again. The reason we do what we do, which shows like today's roundup of the week's local news, is because we want you to feel like you are in the know about what's happening in our city. That is very important to us.
Yeah, and also with great journalists like Erica here from Houstonia Magazine. But to keep bringing you these episodes, these interesting conversations, catching you up on the news, like today's Friday News Roundup and our daily Hey Houston newsletter, all of these conversations about our H-Town, we need your support. So becoming a CityCast Houston neighbor brings us together. It makes the city a better place to be, and you can join right now on this very last day of the launch campaign for just $10 a month.
And why is this last day so important? Because if you join right now, you are a founding member of our CityCast Houston Neighbors membership program. And that means you get that CityCast Houston Neighbors tote that everyone is excited about. I can't wait to get mine. It is going to be fantastic. Do it right now at membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm. Just $10 a month or $100 a year. Save $20 and just pay for the whole year and knock it out. Thank you so much for all the support. Let's talk about the news. Erica, what's up? How are you?
What's not up, Rahil? I am so happy to be back with CityCast talking about some big issues today. And the first thing I want to bring up to y'all is Houston is the 7th worst city for traffic in America. Is that nuts or is it not?
Oh, I thought we were the first worst. Like, I thought we are the worst. Come on.
I mean, if we are not the worst, I don't want to go where it's like even worse because, I mean, me and my husband, we have a saying like 610 Galleria holiday season, like not even once.
Oh.
Like don't go there. What's going on with traffic, Erica?
Okay, so Houston is the 7th worst city in America according to this new study, and the average commute is 29.8 minutes, which to me sounds short. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but that's easy work, light work for us.
I guess you could say it's under 30 minutes. I mean, that sounds not terrible.
Yeah, that's not bad. But I mean, when you start looking at the suburb numbers, I think it goes out to 45 minutes almost. So, but the average isn't bad. 30 minutes, like I'll take that all day. I also saw in this study, Erica, that the congestion time rose to 5 hours and 48 minutes. And that was a 27% increase from last year. So what that means is we are in a pretty much congestion period for almost 6 hours on our
Yeah.
roads.
It's insane. That is the Sound of Music twice. Isn't that crazy? I can't even sit through the Sound of Music. I can barely sit through the Lord of the Rings. And to have to do that in a car is insane to me.
So basically what you're telling me is that those windows of time when it's actually okay to go out on the road and not have to fight traffic, like those windows of traffic-free freeways, like those are getting smaller.
Yeah.
That's what you're telling me?
Yes, 100%. And I think we've kind of noticed it too, because, I think about like pre-pandemic Houston traffic, right? I don't think it was as crazy. And I think that like there were set times. Everybody's like, okay, 5:00, that's it.
Don't
Like,
go out.
Don't go out. And like 8 a.m, don't go out, right? But now I feel like, with hybrid schedules, with things like that, people are on the roads at like 3 in the afternoon. Isn't that crazy?
And that's because of parents trying to head back home to pick up their kids if they don't have after school programs or if they don't have some transportation arranged. And that's something that I learned very fast. Like after our oldest daughter was in school, I'm like, hey, what is this whole thing? Like they get done at 3:30 and I have to be there and pick them up, or somebody has to be home. This is wild. That's what it is. That rush starts so early.
This is where I play my inside Houston card of like why we live where we live. Like I love living in the Greater Heights area because on a daily basis, like I don't have to fight that much traffic. But when I have to cross town to go visit my parents, if we're having like a Friday evening family dinner, I mean, it is solid. If I get there in under an hour, I am lucky.
Yeah.
It is so bad. It is so painful.
It's insane. And okay, so I just learned this recently. Every time I take an Uber, I chat up the driver, right? I learned that a lot of Uber drivers are basically school buses now because they have like Uber Teen. And yeah, Uber drivers will be like, yeah, their parents order Ubers for the kids to go to school. First of all, where are y'all getting that Uber money? Second of all, that's nuts. That's crazy, right?
I mean, makes sense. And it might be more affordable, honestly, just to order Ubers versus trying to come home during rush hour, leave work, all that. I had a friend who did an experiment and he just ditched his car for a year and just took Ubers and Lyfts, and it was cheaper than owning a car. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. And you don't have to stress out in traffic. You can just sit there and get your work done. So yeah, it makes sense that we are one of the worst cities for traffic, at least top 10 worst cities. So, and then when you're driving around, Laura, it's one of the great things is you can just pass through like 9 different congressional districts because the way the new maps are being drawn up, it makes no sense. What's happening with that?
Yes, let's talk about that because that has been one of the biggest stories of the week, not just here in Houston, not just here in Texas, but in the country. But this is the new map that the Texas Republicans at the state legislature unveiled this week. We've been talking about how Governor Greg Abbott called a special session and then they put this redistricting on the agenda sort of late in the game. And basically because President Donald Trump wants to redraw the maps, the GOP wants to pick up 5 seats. And so now we have the proposal and it really impacts Houston in an interesting way that I want to get into.
Yeah, tell us.
So like before we saw this map, we were hearing that there were going to be like potentially like about 3 seats in Houston that could be targeted, currently held by Democrats that the GOP could move and readjust so it'd be more Republican leaning. And the one that really is going to be impacted is the Congressional District 9, which is currently held by Al Green, a longtime Democrat. He's had it since about 2005. And so this would be redrawn so that like parts of the boundaries would move east. It would become more Hispanic, GOP leaning, and then other parts of the district would be moved into the Congressional District 18. That's the former seat held by Sheila Jackson Lee, the Congresswoman, and then, the late Mayor Sylvester Turner. But here's the thing. I have this theory.
Spill, girl.
In addition to like trying to pick up these GOP seats, I think this is payback to Al Green. Because do y'all remember what he did during the State of the Union address?
That
Yeah.
man shook his cane with
He was
so much
upset.
force. Wow, what a guy.
Yeah, he shook his cane. He yelled at Trump. He got ejected. He said, "You don't have a mandate." He got censured. But now his district is being surgically redrawn that if he ran again, he would have to basically run in the 18th, which here's another twist to all of this, that like right now, there's going to be a special election, right? We've been talking about that too. You know, we have Amanda Edwards, we have Harris County Attorney Christian Menifee, others, you know, trying to win that race. So Al Green would have to run there, but it's like, what map? Like, who's in the congressional Texas 18th? Because if these maps get approved, technically they go into effect immediately, but then they're probably going to be challenged in the courts. So like, who's in the 18th? Who gets to vote in that? It's very confusing.
Thing. Yeah. There's still hearings going on. There are still a lot of discussions about this.
Yeah, we're going to have a hearing today on Friday.
Yeah, so that's still going on. But if it is approved, it's going to be tied up in the courts. Elections are coming up in November. So what exactly happens? That special election for the 18th congressional district is coming up in November. So this is just mind-boggling what is about to happen in the next few months. So I just want to put this into perspective, all right? So if these redrawn maps were used in the 2024 election, the new 9th congressional district, which again is held by Representative Al Green, it would have leaned 15 percentage points in favor of President Trump.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So like that's how much redistricting and frankly gerrymandering is going on here.
Yes, 100%. I think too, we really have to talk about the kind of accusations that are coming with this district map redrawing. There have been a couple of younger, a little more progressive candidates that are like, hey, this is illegal voter suppression, right?
Mhm.
The redrawing of districts. This is, I think it's who is it? Austin Democrat U.S. Representative Greg Caesar. He has been saying that this is voter suppression for Black and Latino Central Texans. And it is incredibly interesting to watch this unfold because big twist, I don't know if y'all seen this, on Wednesday night, the Texas Tribune published this story and California Governor Gavin Newsom is like, I will redraw California's congressional lines to put more Democrats in.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But is that really the answer? I mean, I did see that. And, you know, in some ways, like, Raheel, like, I don't think this is mind-boggling. I think this is just the state of play of how extreme our politics are. That is this going to be the new normal where it's just a constant fight? And instead of going to the ballot box and letting people vote, it's going to be, how can we gerrymander our districts even more? Because they're already gerrymandered.
Mm-hmm.
So California is going to get more blue. Texas would become more red. Like, how does that really help democracy? How does that really help our community? And I just want to say, like, California, Gavin Newsom, we know that's a Democrat, you know, led state. Texas, Democrats, they don't have a lot of options. You know, what do? Do they leave the state? Do they try and not have a quorum? And now we have, you know, Attorney General Ken Paxton and Senator John Cornyn threatening to arrest them if they're found out of state. Like, you know, they're in their own primary battle. But like, one of my big takeaways is that this is just a reflection of how partisan, how toxic our politics are. And, you know, it's just, I just don't see how this ends up in a good place for anyone, for any party, really.
When we get back, we have an update on the district attorney's office and why so many prosecutors are leaving and the return of Mahjong. I was not ready for this, but we will talk about it right here on CityCast Houston. Houston, it's time for one of my favorite things, Houston Restaurant Weeks. Houston's most anticipated foodie event will celebrate its 22nd year starting August 1st and running through Labor Day, September 1st. Almost 400 restaurants will be on board, offering fixed price brunches, lunches, and dinners. Restaurants from the Galleria, Inner Loop, West Houston, East End, Midtown, Downtown, Sugar Land, Galveston, and the Woodlands will be participating. You catch my drift. There are a lot of restaurants. Here's the best part. When you dine out, you're raising funds for the Houston Food Bank. So it's your turn to dine out and do good. Get started by going to HoustonRestaurantWeeks.com and browse all of the restaurants and menus. You can even search by the type of cuisine you want, the neighborhood, the meal, the price, and much more. It's time to celebrate one of the best things about H-Town, our food. And you can do it with Houston Restaurant Weeks. Again, that's HoustonRestaurantWeeks.com.
Hey Houston, it's producer Carleon Jones here, and I want to invite you to become a CityCast Houston neighbor. Our membership program is designed for people like you who love Houston and want to see CityCast Houston thrive. We're calling it Neighbors because neighbors and neighborliness are a part of the heart of what CityCast is trying to do. Neighbors drop by the barbecue, neighbors spill the tea on the best restaurants to try, and neighbors catch you up on all the controversial news going on, including the car break-ins happening in Montrose. Better neighbors make better cities, and that's what CityCast Houston is here to do. When you support CityCast Houston, you're helping us make this amazing, complex city a better place to live. And just for $10 a month, you'll get the satisfaction of supporting our work and benefits that will help the city come alive for you. As a CityCast Houston neighbor, you'll get inside access to members-only events, volunteer meetups, ad-free listening, and a weekly roundup of the best things to do in the city. You don't want to miss that. And even the chance to shout out your favorite local nonprofit or business on the show. Plus, when you become a neighbor this week, we'll send you an exclusive CityCast Houston neighbor welcome tote bag as a gift. So let's redefine what it means to be a good neighbor in Houston together by heading to membership.citycast.fm to become a CityCast Houston neighbor today.
Y'all, it is the last day of our membership campaign, and I want to tell you about a perk that you may have forgotten. Being a neighbor, you get invited to our regular members-only events. We're really excited about this. We are going to be holding local events just for you, our CityCast Houston neighbors. This is a way to connect with the entire team, with other neighbors. You know who's not doing this? National publications. The New York Times isn't doing this. CityCast Houston is. And maybe it's planning a pickleball outing, because that would just make my day.
I'd have to learn how to play pickleball, but hey, you know what? I'm down. I'm down.
Y'all are so active.
And maybe, Erica, you're going to join us, right? Come on. You're going to get out there.
Y'all think I can play pickleball? I tried once at the YMCA, and octogenarian Bob at the YMCA dusted me, bro. I am not one of those people, and I think maybe my game might be mahjong. Maybe y'all should do a mahjong outing.
Yeah, we'll talk
down for that too.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But these exclusive CityCast Houston Neighbors events, that's one of the perks that you get by becoming a CityCast Houston neighbor for just $10 a month or $100 a year. Please support the podcast that you love, that makes you love the city of Houston even more. You can do it right now at membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm, or check out the link in our show notes. Okay, before we talk about mahjong, I want to talk about Sean Tier, who is our district attorney. And one of the big things that Sean Tier told us when he joined us on CityCast Houston after winning that office was that he is going to hire a lot of prosecutors. He is going to close a lot of cases. And now we fast forward 6 months in, and Laura, things are not looking that good right now for Sean Tier.
Yeah, well, Nicole Hensley at the Houston Chronicle, she had a really great story this week. And before we get into the not good part, I want to give credit where credit's due. And like you said, Sean Tier, Harris County District Attorney, he was on our show. He talked about some of his big plans, like setting up a domestic violence bureau, setting up more mental health programs, getting the population in the Harris County jail down. And he has made good on those promises. But what one person is calling his biggest stumbling block is the turnover at the DA's office. This was a problem for his predecessor, Kim Ogg. There's just a lot of turnover with prosecutors, and it's still a problem. In his first 6 months, it's been about the same rate of turnover that Ogg had. And, reading through Nicole's story, it's a complicated issue, and it's going to be complicated to solve.
How many people have left his office?
So What the Chronicle reported is that there's been about 86 people who've left. And a lot of those reasons is there's just burnout. They have really high caseloads. Some people want more time with family. Maybe they want to make more money in private practice. The budget is tight. Raises are not on the horizon at all. I mean, they'll have a whole bunch of new lawyers if they pass the bar in August. So they're hoping that will alleviate the problem. But it might take like several years to really build up this core. And one of the wrinkles is that apparently Kim Og promoted a lot of people like really fast, like promoting them from the misdemeanor courts to the felony courts. And so that's kind of adding to the burnout that maybe they don't have the experience needed to handle really intense cases. And, one last thought here, or two really quick last thoughts of potential solutions. Because I love to talk about solutions. Like the news is heavy, but let's figure out a way to fix it. Because there are ways to fix this. Apparently, there used to be an agreement for new prosecutors that they would stay at least 3 years. Like not a written agreement, but sort of an informal agreement. Like maybe they can bring that back. Yeah. Or as this former prosecutor told the Chronicle, maybe Shantir needs to go on a recruiting campaign, go hit up the law schools. Like they have to get a little creative of getting new prosecutors who want to do this job that's like really tough, but really important for our criminal justice system.
That's totally valid. And, as someone who is like still in her 20s, I feel like everybody that I know is going to law school now. Is that just me? Maybe that's something that people do in their 20s. I don't think there's necessarily a shortage. I think there's like a lot of people that really want to do work. And, if I was Shantir, if I was a city, I'd be like, hey, how would you like to do law in a city where the turkey leg hut used to be? I would just be like, do you like hearing crazy things? Let's get into it. We are a very interesting place. And I mean, that's a selling point for some people.
Yeah, but then when you get into office and you are a prosecutor, now you have a caseload of 900 cases. So it's like the burnout is real. And I don't know how you solve this. I talked about solutions. When somebody enters as a prosecutor and you have this massive caseload, but then also you can lower this caseload because you don't have enough prosecutors, like how do you get this solved, right? So it would be nice to have some balance there, but they're already behind.
I think too, maybe we haven't considered this, to stop doing crime. What if we just all stop doing a little bit of crime?
That would be beautiful.
That's a great solution.
Fantastic. That'd be great. So this is something we'll watch out for, and we'll see if these numbers can get back up in the district attorney's office, because there is a lot of work left to be done. And, maybe those prosecutors who have left, they probably left to become Mahjong players, Erica. Mahjong is taking over the city. What is happening with this? You wrote about it.
Okay, I have absolutely no idea. And full disclaimer here, I am Chinese. I do not know how to play Mahjong, right?
Like, okay,
thank you for letting us know.
Give us a lesson?
Because I was about to ask you.
I don't know how to play, and it is like baffling to people I don't know how to play. But okay, so let's start with this here. So there are multiple different types of Mahjong, right? You have Mahjong that has been developed in places like Hong Kong and Taiwan, Thailand, Vietnam, that have variations. And then you have American Mahjong, which is what is being played in Houston today. This is a very interesting thing because to me, in my experience, in our family history, in my culture, Mahjong it has two ways of looking at it. One, it's kind of like playing Uno, like, let's get the family together and we'll do whatever. On the other hand, it is also like a super huge gambling game. People will lose their homes over Mahjong. It's crazy.
Wow.
And so when I first heard about this group in Houston, Mocha Maj, I was like, oh, y'all gambling? Like, what's going on? But no, they're not. They're playing. It's 3 women that have formed Mocha Maj. Ashley, Danny, and Veronica, and they are really wanting to bring this game of American Mahjong to the masses in Houston. And specifically for them, they were telling me they're like, American Mahjong is actually really popular in Jewish communities. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting. That's not what I would have thought, but okay. And, they kind of said that the options for teachers in Houston are a little limited. They wanted to start teaching mahjong to people that look like them. And, for y'all listening, these are Black women that are teaching mahjong. My mom was like, why are people playing mahjong in America? This is crazy. But anyway, this is it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's blowing up in Houston according to Google Trends. Internet users specifically in Bel Air, Spring Valley Village, and West University Place are going ham for mahjong.
Wow.
I will back this up with my very unscientific social media feed that I have been seeing like so many like friends of friends do mahjong, like some moms groups that I'm in. They've been offering mahjong classes. Like, let's all learn how to play mahjong. My aunt, we saw her and she had her new vintage mahjong set and she was trying to teach my daughter. And man, it is really hard. Like,
Yeah.
I think like the rules and like the tiles. And one of my favorite things about this trend, which I have for the record, like I have not joined. I've been a lurker observer, but I think I love this trend because one, it's like getting us together in person in real life to socialize.
Mm-hmm.
It's not centered around alcohol. I mean, if you want to have some wine or whatever on the side, but like I love that there's an activity here. And then also it's like making your brain work. Like, you have to like really think. It's like the modern bridge.
I'm looking at your pictures from the story and I'm looking at the tiles and this makes no sense to me. So this is crazy that, it is trending. It is picking up steam and it is awesome. So during the pandemic, I actually started to play dominoes because I went to my neighbor's cookout and her family was playing dominoes and it was awesome. And I got into it. I was like, I'm going to start playing dominoes. And then the trend died down because there weren't cookouts happening every day. So like I had to play online and I hate playing online. I don't want to do that. Then I'm just on my phone all day. So I hope this trend sticks, going back to Laura's points, like this is great, but man, this is confusing.
It is so confusing. Okay. And something that I found was really interesting when I was talking to these people at this mahjong workshop, surprisingly, also, there were pretty young people there. I asked them, I was like, when was the first time you heard of mahjong? What kind of piqued your interest? And so many of those people were like, we watched Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
But that was like 2018.
Yeah, it was like, which is interesting to me. But that last scene, if you haven't seen this movie, I'm so sorry.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, 7 years later, spoiler alert.
Yeah. But that last scene is the protagonist, Rachel Chu. That's Constance Wu, the actress. She's playing mahjong with her boyfriend's disappointing mom, Eleanor Sung Young, who is Michelle Yeoh, the icon, the legend, the queen. And Rachel sacrifices her winning tile to let Eleanor win. And I think that kind of like cultural touch point has really like taken hold in America for some reason. Everyone knows that Rachel gave something up, but they don't know the rules of the game to see how much she gave up.
Well, maybe we're doing a CityCast Houston neighbors only mahjong tournament or a mahjong learning day. So we could do that. Ready to have some fun this summer? Well, downtown Houston is where you need to head because they're jam-packed with cool events every day. You know I love a good workout, and downtown Houston has so many free fitness classes. Plus, they have brand new dance classes at Market Square Park featuring merengue, bachata, and salsa. Just want to relax? How about some live music or their awesome movies under the stars? And you can't forget about their summer trivia nights at Trebley Park. There's something for everyone. So grab the kids, the dog, your date, or just yourself and enjoy your summer in Houston's original neighborhood. Here's one last tip. Blanket Bingo is back this month, but act fast because tickets do sell out. Find the full list of events at downtownhouston.org or text downtown to 56512 for all the fun at your fingertips. Downtown Houston. Get energized and revived.
As a sports fan, I have to confess. Sometimes the game gets kind of boring. That's when I unfold my Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 and use multi-window viewing on its large screen. Boring game? I'm checking out my fantasy baseball league at the same time. Score still 1-0? I'm replying to emails in the other window, scoring points with the boss. Semifinals finally getting exciting? I'm buying tickets to the finals and booking my flights. Can your phone do that?
The new Galaxy Z Fold 7. Get yours at Samsung.com.
Y'all, let's get to our moment of joy. Let's end the week on a
Let's
high
do
note. I'm going
it.
to start this one off because I have been looking forward to this for months, and it is the season premiere of King of the Hill after almost 16 years. One of the best shows to ever hit the TV is back. I'm talking about Bobby Hill, Hank Hill, Peggy Hill, Boomhauer. All of the characters are back on King of the Hill, and I can't wait. This is one of the first shows that I remember that depicted life in Texas as normal, not just cowboys and horses and stereotypes. Now, there are some stereotypes in the show, but they kind of explain it, and it's part of our everyday Texas culture. It just made me proud to be a Texan, and Hank Hill is the guy that we need right now to navigate 2025 because that's where it takes place in current day Texas. I can't wait. Hank Hill has always been set in his values and his traditions, but he's so open to what his neighbors are going through and what struggles are going through or what movements they're part of, and always takes an understanding approach. So I hope Hank Hill's the guy that maybe bridges all of this together and we get a calmer society.
Yeah.
I absolutely love King of the Hill. I remember, okay, this is a throwback for all my Houstonians, but I would watch it on channel 26, Fox 26, and I
Yep.
remember the block. It would be the Simpsons, Malcolm in the Middle, King of the Hill, and the Simpsons again
Yep.
from 5 p.m. I remember I would come home from school and I'd be like, yeah, I'm watching King of the Hill. But this was a show that for some reason has really held its worth in time, because I remember watching this as a kid and loving it. But then revisiting it as an adult, I was like, oh, this is so funny. This is cracking me up beyond belief.
Yep.
I will quote from it. I have to watch one episode of it every day. And I don't know why.
Still? Like
Yeah.
you still watch it every day?
Yes, I will watch at least one episode.
Erica, what's your favorite moment from King of the Hill?
Okay, this is so hard because I was thinking about there are 2 episodes that like battle in my brain. One of them is Oh Yeah, the episode with Tammy that she turns out to be a prostitute from Oklahoma City.
Yep.
And they figured out,
Oklahoma.
and they had Snoop Dogg guest star on that. That is crazy to me. That was insane.
That was
And
such a good one.
It's such a good one. And my second favorite episode, oh my gosh, it's the one where Matthew McConaughey is guest starring as Rad Tibideaux.
Oh my gosh, yes. I forgot he was, I forgot Matthew McConaughey was in it.
You just don't get more Texas than that.
Mm-mm.
Like King of the Hill, Matthew McConaughey.
It's perfect. I've got one here for you, Laura. I know you
Okay.
love going to the YMCA, but my
Yeah.
favorite all-time moment, I quote this all the time, like till this day, Bobby Hill took a women's self-defense class at the YMCA, and the line, if King of the Hill fans are listening right now, they'll know it, and they'll say it with me in 3, 2, 1. Let go my purse. I don't know you.
I think I know that. Like I didn't watch that much King of the Hill, but I think I know that one.
Yo, like
That's my purse.
I hope they call back to that somehow, some way, because Bobby Hill now in this season of King of the Hill is 21 years old. He's a fusion chef in Dallas. I can't wait for the new season to drop on Monday, August 4th.
Okay, chef's kiss. I want to share my moment of joy because this past month, my family, we got to spend some time in Mexico City, and I just ate my way through this amazing place. I'm not going to list out everything I ate because 1, it would be embarrassing, and 2, I don't want to make you too jealous. But I will just share like the suadero tacos. Oh, so good. And I went to this like 4th generation owned tamale place, like that's like just tucked along the street. And I had the most amazing tamales and some like really out there with chapulines, like the little grasshoppers.
Oh.
But I know, Erica, you're getting jealous because you're like, you know so much about food. But I will share the other thing that my husband and I, we just kept talking about is we loved being here and visiting because we got to walk so many places.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just going to miss that. And I just want to take that energy back to Houston, even though it's 100 degrees, of like walking in the neighborhood, like walking to the coffee shop, walking to the park. Like, can we please make Houston more walkable? But I won't get into the complaining. I just want to say, moment of joy, eating my way through Mexico City. It's amazing.
I'm going to put you on the spot. I hate to do this. Better food, Houston or Mexico City?
Oh.
Why would we pit two baddies against each other? Is what I'm saying.
No, I'm gonna punt. I can't do it.
No comment. Okay, you plead the fifth.
Okay,
You're
if
good.
you want Mexican food, go to Mexico City. If you want like food from all over the world, stay in Houston.
Okay, fair enough. Erica, what was your moment of joy?
Oh my gosh, being here with y'all. Just kidding. It was oh my gosh. I think I'm really just super excited for King of the Hill. I hate to put it back there.
Yes, that comes out Monday. I almost want to have a watch party. I'm not like, I am so down. I can't wait. It's gonna be
We're gonna
fantastic.
have you back, Erica. Do a watch party.
Yeah, we're doing a watch party
episode.
We're doing
Please.
it. We're doing it. Before we get out of here, one last time. This is it. This is the final pitch of our membership campaign for CityCast Houston neighbors. There are so many perks. If you don't believe me, go to membership.citycast.fm and check them all out. Ad-free listening. You get the tote bag if you join right now and become a founding member of CityCast Houston neighbors. It's only $10 a month. So do that. And you will also get benefits like the invite to members-only events, a chance to shout out a local business or charity right here on CityCast Houston, and our newsletter, Hey Houston. And you will get a first look at the events, which I know people love. So support the show. And it has been so cool to see so many of our listeners and readers support CityCast Houston. I'm, talking about people like Ann T, who has supported Linda O, Kelly P, Kristen G, Alex L, Jennifer G, and the Houston Contemporary Dance Company, also the Institute of Contemporary Dance. They have become new members right here on CityCast Houston neighbors. So please join them and take that step. Support the show that you love, and it will help us continue making this show. I can't say that enough. It is going to help us continue making the show you love. Do it right now. Membership.citycast.fm. Erica, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, Laura Isensee, executive producer, thank you as well.
See y'all soon.
Bye.
Again, that was executive producer Laura Isensee with Erica Chang, who's now at Houstonia Magazine. So please check out her work that I've linked in our show notes, along with all of the stories we talked about. Hey, help us grow the show by sharing this episode with 3 of your friends who love King of the Hill as much as I do, and drop us a rating and review wherever you listen. Also, subscribe to CityCast Houston and our daily newsletter, Hey Houston, for more news, happenings, events, and so much more at houston.citycast.fm. Thanks. That will do it for this week here on CityCast Houston. Our producers this week were Selena C.A. Reynolds, Lizzie Goldsmith, and Carleon Jones. Our newsletter editor is Brooke Lewis. Our executive producer is Laura Isensee, and I'm your host, Rahil Ramzanli. Our music is by the band All the Kimonos, with additional music courtesy of Jarrett Lutz, Harold Schneck, and Rue Walker from Triple Scoop Music via Getty Images. We'll be back on Monday with an inside look at Mayor Whitmire's ambitious plan to end homelessness in Houston. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something new.
Thinking about Mexico City and King of the Hill, my mind just immediately goes, "Escúchame," and like I have to quote it.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Peggy Hill, who of course was a substitute Spanish teacher, that is what Erica is referencing.